What's going on, 20-somethings? I'm your host, Jaisha Smalls, but you call me Jay Couture, and welcome to the 22 Podcast. The 22 Podcast is all about navigating the time in your 20s. If you're listening on YouTube, hey YouTube. Well, if you're listening and watching on YouTube, hey YouTube. Make sure that you head on over to Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, whatever you listen to podcasts, head over there and check out the 22 Podcast, the audio version, because YouTube, you only get a little preview. So if you're listening on our podcast platforms, shout out to you. Thank you so much. Make sure you rate the podcast 5 stars, nothing less than, and give us a follow. So on today's episode, I wanted to talk about passion and running a business, that whole hustle mindset in your 20s. I have come across a lot of people who really don't know what they're passionate about in their 20s. And I think that it's something that is important because not only do you want to live in your 20s and just work, go home, go to bed, work, go home, go to bed, hang out with your friends. Like, you want to find something that you're actually passionate about that keeps you going every day, that makes you happy, that fulfills you. So I decided to bring on a guest, and we're going to talk about passion. All right, passion, business, hustle, all that. So welcome to the 20 Podcast, P.Filmz.
Thank you. What's up? It's an honor to be here.
He's nervous. You nervous?
A little bit.
I love it.
Just a little bit.
I appreciate you coming on, though. I have worked with he Pablo the photographer, but he talking about P.Filmz. He P.Filmz today. So I worked with P.Filmz before. He did my birthday shoot.
You do Pablo's cool.
Now you want to be Pablo?
That's cool.
Pablo, aka P.Filmz. There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
We worked before and we've been cool. So I appreciate you coming on my podcast and supporting me.
Yeah, I got to. I had to show some love for sure.
Thank you. So before we dive into passion and talk about business, hustle, y'all, why they try to ban TikTok and they actually banned TikTok?
We was on like a little 9-hour timeout.
How did you feel about that?
I hurt my feelings. I really want CapCut to come back. Like, if y'all watching this, can we just hurry up and get CapCut back? I need everybody to talk to whoever in the White House.
Yeah. Because when they said TikTok going and CapCut, I'm like...
They ain't even... The crazy thing is they cut it at like 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. And it was supposed to be at what? Well, I don't know what time it was supposed to be.
They said January 19th. It was still the 18th.
It was the 18th.
I'm like, it's still U.S. time. Like,
I never thought it would even get to that moment. And when it happened, I'm like scrolling. And it's like, yeah, TikTok, no more. It was like learn more or close app. I was like, close app.
I ain't gonna lie. I just started saving all my things. And I was like, dang, like all my drafts. And I ain't got no storage on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
a lot of people's doing that.
That's why I was like, bruh, this ain't real.
I just said, F it.
I kind of felt bad for like the community.
Creators and the people who make money, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, because if they take away Instagram, I'm probably gonna leave off the face of the earth.
I hate Instagram. Well, I love Instagram, but I cannot.
I'm like, Instagram gonna watch this. They're gonna be like, nah, y'all, they're gonna flag it. Nah, we ain't gonna speak that.
So we're gonna first start off this episode talking about like our journey into business and finding a business, and then we'll like segue into passion and things like that. That's so for me, my journey into business, I opened my first business. Well, I started my first business at 18. Mm-hmm. And it was a t-shirt line, an accessory line called Get a Hobby. And
that's fire.
Oh, it's fire. Yeah. It was hashtag Get a Hobby. And I had like these little t-shirts and like cute sunglasses. It was like really cute. But I think looking back on it now, I really started. I stopped because I started going to I went to college, and I'm like, I don't know if I keep up with a business in college.
You could have been trapping out the dorms.
I could have, and I did for a while, but that was only just to get rid of stuff that I had. So if y'all remember that, if you're listening, you remember me at the pop-up shops at school. Yeah, I was trying to make some money, but I don't know. But looking back on it, I was gonna say I feel like I started a business because that was around the time being an entrepreneur was the hype. And everybody was on Instagram like hashtag entrepreneur and like, you know, arms across
it's that. You gotta have the index on the finger.
Yeah.
I'm so used to doing that. Like,
So I feel like I never really, well, I'm not gonna say I wasn't really interested in it because I love like clothes and getting cute accessories and stuff like that. But I don't know. I didn't realize how much work it took being an entrepreneur and having your own business.
Oh yeah, it's a
that
nonstop.
time.
It's a nonstop job.
Yeah.
Sure.
it
People be
is.
saying, "I don't want no 9 to 5," but like being an entrepreneur, that's a 24/7.
Yeah, that's a 24/7 job. Like you have to really have some dedication into your own business. So how you get your start with your business?
Truthfully, I started photography like in 2016, but I took it serious and bought my first very, very first camera like November 2017. So I've been doing this. November this year would be 8 years.
Oh, dang, that's a long time.
And originally, I was supposed to major in computer science.
Ooh. Oh wait, so what did you go to college? You did? What college you go to?
I went to Art Institute.
Art Institute, okay.
Like, a lot of people think it's SCAD. It's not SCAD, y'all. It's a whole different.
But it's here in Georgia?
It's in Sandy Springs.
Oh, it's Sandy Springs.
I don't know if they still open now because they were scamming a lot of people. Like, but I'm not gonna diss them right now. I'm not gonna diss them. They was scamming though.
Not scamming. So you was gonna major in computer science, and then what happened?
Oh, so originally I was gonna go to either like GGC, Georgia Gwinnett College, or try to go like Columbus State, somewhere away from like Gwinnett, because I moved from Chicago. Because I'm from Chicago, and I moved here. July would be 10 years that I've been out here.
Okay. Dang.
So originally I was just working at Chick-fil-A. I was working at Target. Like I kept walking past the camera. This is really how it started for real. Kept walking past the camera and electronic section at Target. And I kept telling this dude named Dom, and I'm always shout him out every chance I get. He worked in electronics. I said, Dom, I'm gonna buy that camera and I'm gonna be something watch.
Ooh.
And he was like
that.
because with talking to Dom, he influenced me a lot. He like encouraged me to like do more than just putting all your eggs in one basket, just working a 9 to 5 at Target and stuff. Because
right.
at the time I was 19 going on 20. And that's when he said, he was like 40. He said, I've been working here since I was your age. Don't be like me. He said, this is all I know. But he knows like how to do other stuff. Like he makes beats and all this other stuff. Cool. But he said, like, yeah, I feel like you could do, you young, if you could get out there, do it. So I was like, okay. But then I was like, okay, once I bought the camera, I was like, I don't know what I want to take pictures of. So I just started trying different stuff. So I started taking pictures of like different celebrities and stuff, going to like different clubs. And I would like reach out to promoters like, hey, can I just like take pictures for this night?
And what age were you around this time? How old were
19.
you? 19? Okay.
I started everything when I was 19.
Okay.
Because I still had my camera, but I was like, at first I was just taking pictures of people I went to high school with that I thought was like popular. Because I was like, they was gonna get my pay. This was the start though.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out. I'm like, okay, if I take pictures, I started taking pictures of like flowers, graffiti walls. I would go like downtown Atlanta to like Little 5 Points area and just take pictures of graffiti wall and just. I used to edit on my phone like with PixArt, and that was it. I didn't know nothing about no Photoshop. If like somebody like, okay, you fix my edges, thinking I'm Arrogant Tay at the time, I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, I don't do that. So they'll be like, how you charge? I'm like, so then I went to school for it.
Okay.
Because I was like, yeah, I gotta figure this out. Even though people was like YouTube University, but I have a short attention span. Like, if you know me for real, like I have a very short attention span.
It's okay.
Like, yeah. So long story short, got started with that, and then I had got my LLC honestly during the pandemic because that's when everybody was doing at the crib, and I was just figuring out a game plan. Like I'm just speeding through it, but I got to go back into time. But I started at the club. That's how I started. Clubs and baby showers. That's what I started.
Clubs and baby showers. Shout out to clubs and baby showers. I know that's right. So wait, you never really had an interest for like photography. You just was like looking at the camera. You was like, I'm by that camera. You just started.
So when I very, very, very first, like I was doing behind the scenes with my boy Jay Visuals 312 on Instagram. That's who like inspired me to get into like, cause I used to always come with him, and then I witnessed how he never ever, and I just talked to him on FaceTime probably like 2 weeks ago because he was just out here, and he never had a 9 to 5 before. Like when I was going to high school out there in Chicago, he never ever had a 9 to 5. He always just took pictures doing highlights for the football team. They started paying him through the school. Then he started doing music videos. I never did like to do music videos. I just did like seeing the process, watching him. And then he started working with big artists, and I'm like, so seeing him, and we're the same age because his birthday is probably like 2 weeks after mine.
Okay.
And for me to be the same age as you and you're 15 and you doing so well, I'm like, nah, I got to do the same thing. I could do that same thing. So, nah, I didn't want to do photography, but I was like, I felt like it was the easy route at the time. But it's not easy. Like how people think it's just a click of a button.
Yeah.
It's more than that.
Yeah. Wow. So seeing somebody else piqued your interest in photography.
Yeah, but like I said, I keep getting sidetracked. I told you, short attention span. So I went to what I was going to say. I went to Art Institute 2018. Yeah, 2018. Top of 2018. January 2018, actually. The first 6 months was cool, but after that, I was just like, I feel like I'm wasting my time here. Because I was supposed to go to, like I said, GDC or Columbus State or something like that, major in computer science. But when I went on a college tour, this was really got me into photography. I went seeing like the classroom and the curriculum for computer science. At the time, I was like, okay, they making 6 figures. This is cool. I'm Googling how much does a photographer make like a year. And it didn't match up the numbers. So I was like, the numbers wasn't numbering. So I'm just like, do I really want to do photography? Or I could probably do both. But then what made me get into like photography, honestly, because the curriculum in school was more easier.
Oh, okay.
Computer science, a lot of coding and math and science.
Math.
And I knew how I was so trash in math.
At
science
least you
was
knew.
cool.
At least you was like, I'm not even going to set myself up like that.
Like that's like the real deal truth. Like it was just because when I seen like the classrooms that like the classes we had to take for photography versus computer science, I'm like trigonometry, algebra 1, 2, all this like calculus. No, I'm not finna do that because I'm like I don't have the same friends that I have in high school that could just. And shout out to y'all if y'all listening. That could just help me. Yeah. Like kind of like cheat my way.
Yeah. Right.
Just kind of like give me some assistance because they have their own personal lives. We in college now. I'm like, well, about to go to college. I'm like, yeah, I just see language arts over here, and we got to do like one math class for photography. Okay, I'm gonna take that versus taking all these. Like, why am I doing all this?
That's crazy. So before I ask you, when did you realize like photography was your passion? So for me, when it was time for me to go to college, I was going to go to college for business. And I think a lot of that was heavily influenced by my mom. But like, and then of course I did have the business. So I talk about the t-shirt line. So I was like, okay, well I got the t-shirt line. I'll just go to business, major in business. And then during this time, entrepreneurship was coming a major in college. So I was like, oh, I could go and major in entrepreneurship, have my business, My mom majored in business when she was in school. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go for business. So I went to the college tour and I went to go tour Bennett College. And I was like, yeah, I have an interest in business. And it was like a fair. They was having like a fair. They had all like the majors in the gym.
Yeah. That's what they did at the college.
Yeah, they had all the majors in the gym, and like you would meet all the people from the department, and like they would just talk about, their major and what they was doing. So I came across the journalism stand. I think I did go to the business table first, and it was like, I was not interested. But when I got to the journalism, I was like, oh man, like they got a magazine, they got a radio show, they got their own student news show. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and then during this time, I was doing a lot of modeling, acting. I was in the camera a lot, in front of the camera a lot. So I'm like, I could get behind the camera, be in front of the camera, and like do it at school. So that's when I was like, I think I'm a major in journalism. But then my mom was like, you could do both. I'm like, no, I think, I'm just going to just major in journalism. So that's how.
Oh, so she wasn't tripping that you just wanted to do like journalism versus.
No, she wasn't. And I was surprised she wasn't, but I think she just wanted me to find something that I wanted to do and like be interested in. So.
That sounds like my grandmother and mom. They know they wanted me to go to school. But my grandma, when I was telling her about photography, still to this day, and I love my grandma dearly, we talk a lot. She still to this day, oh, how's photography like? Because when I shoot at Camp Kirk Studios downtown Atlanta, She'd be like, "Oh, you got to shoot today? Did your boss book that?" I'm like, "I'm my own boss."
Did your boss book that?
Like, cause around in that era that she grew up in the 50s, 60s and stuff, that was a thing. You go to school,
right?
Get a degree,
That's crazy.
Still to this day, like she was like, "What you be charging like $25 for?" I'm like, "I wish I would charge them."
For real?
Honestly, when I first started, I was OD. I would charge $25 for a photo shoot and like 75 edits.
75.
Remember, I used to edit on my phone. I used to edit on my phone. So before, like when I very first started, I would
take that and run with it.
25, but nah.
No, not today.
I used to put whatever filter I like.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't have no experience at all. Like I was just like, I thought it was just a click. Like people think that photography is simple. It's just a click of a button and you go on an app and you smooth out the skin. It's not that simple. Like sometimes you really like need a laptop and really zoom in, look, retouch, all this stuff, color grade, all that stuff. People just think it's just a click of, I thought it was. I didn't even use the right setting until I learned about it my first week of college at Art Institute.
Wow.
They taught me how to use the camera properly. I used to just put it on, because it's a little setting on the camera. If y'all ever see it, it's say TV. I was like, oh, that mean it's going to be the same quality as TV. So, but that was something completely different. If you are tuning in, you need to put your camera on manual settings if you're taking pictures. And then that's when you have full control over like how the lighting looks, at least from that point. And then if you're doing studio and all that, that's a whole nother ball game.
Oh, so if you're listening, you got some gems of any photographers, anybody got a camera.
I'm about to do a class. I'm going to do a class.
Oh, you doing a class?
A lot of people want me to do a class, and I've been holding off for like 5 years now. Since the pandemic, people were saying I should have been doing like a class. But I was just like, I kept doubting myself, thinking like, I don't think I'm there yet to just be trying to get people to. But the crazy thing is, 2021, I want to say, I did like 3 classes, like one-on-one though, where people would pay me and just have me mentor them for like the day. Or they'll come on set with me and just see what it's like. And I think I want to get back into it, but but I feel like I was finessing though, because like they would pay and they would do it, but then they'll end up shifting off and just give up.
That's on them. That's not on you.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dang, like, is my gem's not helpful? But some people but everybody goes through their own, like, troubles.
Yeah.
That's normal, though. It's going to be, like, slow seasons. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. It was a lot of people that started photography and just don't do it no more.
Yeah.
I thought about giving up after my first year.
Oh, we going to dive into that. So when did you realize that photography was your passion?
That's a good question. So I want to say I realized it was my passion. That's a good question. Hold on. Gotta think on it for a second.
Like any moment where it was like, I can't go a day without picking up my camera. I can't go a day without thinking about a shoot. I can't go a day.
Honestly, I want to say once I got hired to intern at Camcurt Studios, and that was like, they hired me at the end of December 2018, but I didn't start till like January 2019. So it kind of like, because I didn't have no space to like shoot nowhere. I was just, people like, do you have a studio? I'm like, no. And then like, I kept shooting there, but I would tell people like, yeah, I got a studio. At first people really thought that, still to this day, some people think that Camcurt Studios is my studio. I'm like, no. I just shoot there a lot.
Right.
Like, but I feel like when I got hired there, because I felt like I was around like-minded people. So it was like hearing their stories and seeing them, like being on set with them, it just made me want to do it more. And then I started having fun because I started inviting a lot of people to the studio. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get my portfolio up. And at the time, disclaimer, he was giving us like studio time for free because we were working there. And we just couldn't do it like during our shift that we was like supposed to be there helping out clients, like setting up their backdrop and lights and stuff. But then I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And I started inviting everybody. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just shoot. Oh, what's the concept? I don't know. We're just gonna shoot on a yellow backdrop today and we're gonna get it lit.